Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a year since my last video. Apologies for that. But, I've always been on and off with the YouTube thing. But I thought it would be really fun to come back into the YouTube thing because right now the Penguins are in a really weird timeline. The first domino has officially fallen, and I believe more is to come. That's why I believe it's the first of many, starting with this Lars Eller trade. Now, maybe you're asking me, what exactly is starting with this Eller trade? Is this the rebuild? Has it officially begun? Honestly, in my opinion, the rebuild or whatever has started the day they traded Gensel. They never announced it. Like the Rangers back in the day when they went in their rebuild, they made a little statement and they let the fans know this is what's up, and then rebuild has begun. The thing is with the Penguins, they haven't made no statement about a rebuild. It was not too long ago, Monday night, the Penguins, probably one of their most embarrassing losses that I've seen as a fan, right? That embarrassment ensued, and then the very next day, we get reports talking about some Kyle Dubas is going to trade everybody except for Crosby. They trade Lars Eller back to Washington for a third-round pick in 2027 and a fifth-round pick in this year's upcoming draft. So 2 mid-round draft picks, that's exactly what Kyle Dubas is doing so well ever since, I'd say, the offseason. I just love watching him work and get these mid-round draft picks. Listen, I'm not really mad at the return. They signed Lars Eller for free in free agency. To flip him for a 7th would have been good, right? Anything. You're getting free picks out of a free agent. Like, you can't be mad at that. And getting 2 mid-round draft picks, we'll take it. Lars Eller's 35. He's a third-line center, fourth-line center on a good team. It's a great trade for the Capitals. They get a familiar face. They get some veteran leadership. They're trying to gear up for some kind of playoff run. I mean, it's kind of early. I feel like we're not even at the trade deadline. I don't know why we're making these trades now, which leads me to my next point. I believe that if the Penguins waited, I'm very confident that they could have gotten at least a second-round pick in this trade. Good on the Capitals. In year 20 of Ovechkin, they're trying to contend. I'm a little jealous for the first time in those 20 years. I'm jealous of the Capitals. But at the same time, would I take year 20 contending or the 3 cups? I mean, come on. It's a good trade for both teams. It's a contender buying and it's a seller selling. This is where I'm a little confused. I believe, again, the Penguins should have waited on Lars Eller. Did you really need to get rid of Lars Eller? Does he really, what's the angle you're coming with this? That's what I'm trying to read into this. What are you doing here? Are we selling? Is it over? Are we giving up? Are we throwing in the towel? I don't think so, personally. I feel like something is more to come. You don't trade Lars Eller in November. You just don't. If you're selling, you sell at the deadline because those contending teams will overpay. Which leads me to my next point. I believe there's more coming, especially with that wild report that Dubas is open to trading everybody except for Crosby, which we were overlooking that report. They're not going to trade no Malkin. They're not going to trade no Letang. They're not trading Carlson. I mean, go ahead. You could try. Malkin has a no-movement clause. So does Letang. These guys will rather die than go to another team, right? They're not going to go anywhere else. They're going to veto any trade. I don't think they would trade their lives in Pittsburgh to go chase that 4th cup, same as Crosby. Obviously, Crosby signed that extension. I believe the big 3 will stay in Pittsburgh and retire unless they want out. Then you have Carlson, and, good luck trading that contract away. So you're stuck with him. So, this whole, we're trading everybody but Crosby. I mean, who is this everybody, right? Everybody on an expiring deal? Yeah, we expected that. I refuse to believe that this team is throwing in the towel and selling. I mean, they will do this. They will sell and they will throw in the towel. I just refuse to believe that it's getting done in game 17 before the holidays. We're so early into giving up. And you promised Crosby a team that will be better. So, something's not adding up here. You don't sell in November. You don't. You just don't. Nobody sells in November. So that leads me to my next point. This might just be step 1 of a potential more trades to come. Because look at this. The Penguins had $1.7 million in cap. Then they trade Eller. Now they got 4.1. I didn't realize Eller was making 2.5 million. I forgot about that, right? I'm not the GM of the team. I'm not there studying what everyone makes. I always had the idea that he was in the 1 million range. So when I saw that he was making 2.5, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. Right now they have 4 million, over 4 million of cap. So I'm thinking you have flexibility. In my opinion, I believe Kyle Dubas just wants to restart, rebuild, screw everybody, start over, be bad for a few years, get the top picks, and build a new era in Pittsburgh. That's what I believe, and he will do that. But I think he just has to wait a bit because you're not doing that with Crosby on this roster, unfortunately for you, Mr. Kyle Dubas. So that's my question to you guys. What's next for the Penguins? It's actually really weird times, and that's why I brought back the videos because I don't think they're done here. I mean, and if they are done here, if they're just selling off Eller, why? That's my question. Why? Why are you trading Eller in November? Was the return that good? you needed that 2027 third. Like, I believe if you waited, you could have gotten more, right? So the only thing that leads here that makes sense to me is the fact that there's more coming. There has to be more coming. I have no idea what Kyle Dubas is cooking. I have no clue because I don't know what direction they're going in. I mean, I know they're heading towards that rebuild, but something like they're at like some kind of stop sign right now in the middle. Here's rebuild, here's contending. They're like right here, and it's like they're going to try and bring players to help contend because Crosby is still here without sacrificing the future. Because what they're doing is obviously pro-rebuild. And Kyle Dubas wants that rebuild to start, but he just can't. So again, it definitely won't be boring. So, I mean, stay tuned. We're probably going to lose a lot of hair and a lot of years off our lives this season. But it's expected, right? The Penguins are just not a great team. Now, listen, this is a conversation for another time. Maybe I make a video about this, but if they want to do anything, man, it's got to start at the top, right? You got to fire your coach, right? Like, I would think so. Listen, I could get into another debate with that. Let's stop it here. That's my thoughts on the Lars Eller trade. Again, just a little bit confused why they did it in November. I don't mind the return. Again, 35-year-old center. We knew he was going. Get a couple draft picks, whatever. Could have been a second. Who cares? They got the third and the fifth. Take it and run. You can't get mad at everything, you know. It's just a Lars Eller trade. You know, it's expected. This is exactly what it would be. You know, my question more is like, what's going on, right? Why is it being done now? So that's what I'm going to end the video with is where do you think the Penguins are going with this? What does this mean for the Penguins? Let me know in the comments, and let me know what else you'd like to see a video about. I'm thinking a little Mike Sullivan should be fired video is next, right? I think I'll work on that. Anyways, enjoy. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.